Planning to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Kairaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980 8483 340 9400 or 635 9906.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051, or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
Agadadi. Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agadadi.
Bijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya. Mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola sota Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi manin domorol dir fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moy o diat ha.
Apelenta
baraka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel ciosano lo.
Baraka.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, Takaful Fund, management of Zakat, management of Awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Hello and welcome to the Brunch. First of all, of course, mighty warm greetings on the occasion of Tabaski, which will be over this weekend. Wherever you may be, Idul Adha, that is it. Wherever you may be, we wish you a great feast of Idul Adha, which will of course happen over this weekend. This week, I have the pleasure of once again having an Islamic scholar, multiple talented Islamic scholar, well-known, an international linguist who is now a retired civil servant and vice president of Rawdatul Majalis, Mr. Momodou Lamin Yaffa. Welcome, Mr. Yaffa.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Yaffa, like I said, is an international civil servant. First, though, he taught as a teacher at the Gambia Muslim High School, at that time called Muslim High School. He also worked at the President's Office, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, before going to work for the IDB, that is Islamic Development Bank at the time. He spent a whole lot of time in the Gulf, I guess, and other Islamic countries. He also studied in Egypt and Saudi Arabia, if I'm right, in Morocco most of the time. Today we will discuss about several issues because we had the OIC summit here. We also had the debates on FGM, whether it is Islamic or it's not Islamic. And much more recently, Rawdatul Majalis has announced that their feast is not Sunday tomorrow, but on Monday. These and other issues we will discuss with Mr. Yaffa. It's always a pleasure to have you on the Brunch.
Thank you, Mr. Cham.
It was since October that we spoke, and along the way, of course, like I said, so many things happened. At the time, we were all gearing up for the much talk about Islamic summit, that is the OIC summit. And you, I have mentioned you are a linguist, you are an interpreter all along, all your life you've been a linguist interpreting. You took part in that conference as an interpreter. If people were listening to the various standards, I think the Arabic channel was channel 3. What? Yeah. Channel 3.
I was on the English.
You were on the English translation. So if you were listening to the Arabic speakers, the English voice you were hearing was that of Momodou Lamin Yaffa. So let's begin with that. The summit came and gone. In your perspective, as somebody who, worked in the Arab world, followed, their politics, their arts, their cultures, their protocols, etc., how would you say the OIC Banjul Summit really fared?
Thank you, Mr. Cham, for having me on your program.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Is it the Brunch?
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, for the second time.
Exactly.
Yes. My greetings also go to the viewers.
Exactly.
Your loyal and faithful viewers.
Thank you.
And to all Gambians. Yes. Regarding your question, the OIC, as you know, it's a major international event. The OIC is the organization that brings together 57 I can say Muslim majority countries, but not necessarily, not all of them are necessarily Muslim majority countries. I'm not saying Muslim countries or Islamic countries.
Well, that's how some people call them.
Muslim majority countries. That's to say countries in which
there are more
majority of the population are Muslims. Like the Gambia, Senegal, all other Arabic-speaking countries.
But what about Nigeria? Because Nigeria, I remember when they came into the organization in the 80s, it was controversial. General Babangida was in power.
Yes.
And they said, no, how can you say we have more Muslims here than Christians? So how do you...
Well, probably at the time, one couldn't categorically say that the majority of the Nigerian population were Muslims. But I want to believe right now,
they are.
Anecdotically, I'm not being empirical about the figures, but based on what I have definitely come across on the internet and other sources, is that now the majority is slightly Muslims.
Okay. So this is organization for Muslim majority countries.
Although
57 of them.
Yes, although you have some member states that do not have Muslims as the majority in their countries.
Oh, they are still members.
Yeah, you have Togo.
Oh, Togo, yes.
For your information,
Togo cannot be said, yes.
It's a member.
Okay.
Benin
Republic. In fact, are there Muslims there?
Yeah, there are. No, there are.
Okay.
Yeah. I can say what is it? Probably half of the Yoruba population.
Okay. I've been there, and what I saw was mainly Christian or traditional voodoo.
Yeah, the voodoo.
Yeah,
it's traditional.
Okay.
Yoruba mainly. In fact, voodoo is mainly Yoruba.
Okay. I saw a lot of them in Benin. Sorry, in Cotonou and Port Loko. No, is it Port Loko? Yeah, Porto Novo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these are countries which members of the IAK of the OIC. But Muslims are not the majority there. Cameroon is another one.
Okay.
Yes.
Cameroon cannot be.
Although the northern part they are all Muslims.
I see.
They are first president.
So apart from
there,
majority Muslim, there are also countries that there are Muslims.
Yeah,
though they might not be in the majority. Gabon, yeah.
Oh,
but they are all represented. Were they all represented in the last one?
Yes, there was a representative. Gabon is a member.
Okay.
Uganda,
yes,
is a member.
Yes, I saw a high-level delegation.
The bulk of the majority population
in Uganda
are Muslims. Many.
Yes.
Mozambique, of all places, is also a member.
Yeah, I see.
And there is a sizable Muslim population also there.
I see. Interesting.
So they are very the membership is flexible. And for the viewers' information also, there is a country in South America that's a member.
Called?
That's Guyana.
Oh, Guyana and Grenadines.
Guyana.
Oh, Guyana, yes.
Yes, the former Dutch
I know St. Vincent and Grenada is not far from Guyana.
The same area.
Yeah.
You know,
I think Guyana is French. French Guyana.
You have two Guyanas.
Yeah.
French Guyana and Dutch Guyana. Dutch, that's to say, it was colonized by the Dutch.
Holland.
People from Holland.
Yes,
Netherlands.
So which one came? The French Guyana?
No.
Or the Dutch
Yes.
Guyana? Ah, I see. That's where you have Muslims.
Yes.
Ah, okay. That's
you have
interesting.
Muslims there, and they are a member.
Yeah. And they came to Banjul.
Yes, they are also a representative.
Okay, let's move on, because most people figure out that the success of this summit will have to do with the presence or the lack of presence of the absence of big nations such as the Saudi Arabias, the Iran. Well, Iran, there's a trouble with Iran, but Turkey, Indonesia, Malaysia, Nigeria, at the head of state level. Many people wanted to say, well, since those were absent, it cannot be said that it's quite successful. Do you agree with that?
Not fully. Not fully. You see, on average, OIC summits have been attended by roughly 15%.
In terms of heads of level?
Of heads of state.
Heads of state level.
And government, yes.
Not quite more than 15?
No, on average, it's 15%.
But then, of course, it sometimes involves the big wigs I have.
It depends. Some will come, some will not come. You see, as you know, in our current world, heads of state and government, leaders in general, are more concerned about and with their security. Security is the main factor, that determines the presence of a head of state at an event or not.
Yes, there have been issues like people have raised those concerns. Probably we didn't have all what the security requirements that would attract or assure these top, leaders to come to Banjul. But others said, of course, it may also have to the level of preparedness.
Yeah, this is just one element of the whole, call it mosaic of reasons.
I see.
Yeah, it's one element, but it's the main one.
You believe that,
to be frank,
it is how they feel about their security.
To be frank, you see, if you remember, in the 90s, Hosni Mubarak, then head of state of Egypt, went to attend a session of the AU in Addis Ababa, the headquarters of the AU itself.
Yeah, that was an incident, I remember.
An attempt.
Yes, I remember that.
A clear attempt, assassination against him. And since then, you've not had that man going to that summit or any other summit.
And Mubarak should be wary of assassination because Sadat was killed in his presence.
That's right. And look at even the UN General Assembly. I'm not saying, I don't think it is not all of them.
But at least, at least big guns come to that place.
They go. But does it attain that level of 50%?
So it's always difficult to get all heads of state.
Look at these Arab leaders, head of state. You seldom see them at the UN.
Yeah, that's right. They seldom go.
They are more concerned about their security.
I see. So they especially those who had problems with America. Even though the American babies.
No. Very few have problems with America. They are all friends of
America. But then they are still concerned about their security. I see. So you want to believe that part of the reasons they may not have turned to Banjul may have to do with security.
But number two, you see, the Gambia, to be frank, as a host of such an event, was an exception. It was an exception, given the size of the country, the nature of the country itself. Gambia is a small country. That's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to.
So you mean, by all standards, we have done very well.
Now, if you look at the list of countries that have hosted the OIC since the inception, of the organization, it's only the big wigs that have been hosting this summit.
Yes.
Yeah. It started first with Morocco.
Yeah.
Because it was the initiator.
Yeah, I see.
But basically, I can say after that, there was no other summit in Morocco. Yeah. It's only at the ministerial level, what they call the ICFM.
So people must appreciate that, in fact, this is really a credit on our, a feather in our cap to be able to host this.
In fact, we beat more than what we could swallow. I think this one, although I'm not saying it pejoratively.
I understand what you said.
But it was definitely a huge task. It was a huge burden.
I see.
To be frank, as a
so you mean even bigger nations?
No,
could not put this together.
No, they don't. They don't.
Yeah, I see.
They don't.
I've
been involved in this thing now for nearly 28
That's why I rely on your judgment. You're right.
It's Iran, Turkey, Saudi Arabia.
It's only in a few occasions that it comes to Africa. Senegal, for example.
Senegal.
Yeah.
Senegal, the only country.
Yeah, in Africa.
The entire African membership of 22 countries.
Interesting. So by and large, we have done well.
Very well. Very well. To be frank.
Yes, to be frank.
Very frank.
Yeah, given our
the size of our economy,
the economy,
the country,
the development.
It was a monumental task.
So the very fact that we could host this,
definitely,
is really a credit.
And you could see that they commend us.
Yes, they did. They did.
I was involved as an interpreter. I come across them with delegations, my colleagues and so on.
Yeah.
They will always give me
pat on the back.
Congratulations, Yaffa. For that.
For putting up together.
All that I would say is thank you. Frankly.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So it was in that.
Yes.
So we are going to be the chairperson, President Barrow will be the chairperson for the next 3 years. What do you think will mean for the Gambia? You having a great knowledge about how the Islamic world works.
Well, I don't think it will bring us much benefit. I don't think so. It's mainly ceremonial, frankly speaking.
But we we maybe everybody will think about, okay, wherever there is a meeting, let's go to Banjul, let's go to Banjul.
Yeah, probably that can be done, but not always.
And will Barrow, now chairman, wield any more influence in matters of OIC as chairman?
Yes, he has to be consulted on any issue that definitely concerns the organization.
Okay.
He is the chairperson. He is the, as they would call it, the current chairperson.
So he will have that influence.
A pivotal role to play. Yes. And when it comes to, let's say, meetings, he has to be consulted. So he may decide on the venue of so-and-so meeting. Probably, he would say.
So if you say Banjul, I have a modern facility that everybody's shown.
Why not? It's the same thing applies to the AU, to ECOWAS.
He could always say
exactly. Okay. But apart from that, no, I don't think there is anything.
Yes, basically ceremonial things.
Exactly. That's right.
What about the day-to-day running? You said the international delegates were impressed. The day-to-day protocols, the feeding, and all kind of things that you are familiar with.
The standards were not bad. Frankly, the Gambia did very well.
I see.
In terms of, frankly, performance, in terms of hospitality, the arrangements made to receive the guests. And the like, yes, definitely we did very well. Now, during the proceedings, you see, the OIC per se took 6 days, not 2 days. 2 days for the summit.
Yes, but before the summit, 10 days or more.
No, it's 6 days.
Oh, 6 days.
Yes, 6 days. Real proceedings.
Okay.
It started on the 30th of
April.
2 days.
The experts meeting
of the
they
experts.
said.
They call them senior officials.
And then ministers.
These are the permanent secretaries and probably ambassadors.
And
that's where everything, the nitty-gritty, everything is,
discussed.
And decided.
I see.
The other ones, the ministerial, that comes after this one.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say ceremonial. They also will look into what the experts have decided and make some amendments. Because it's all political.
I see.
The issues are thorny issues.
Yes.
They may, some delegates would say, yes, let's
just gloss over this.
Leave it to pass. But at the ministerial level, they will raise it again.
They will raise it again. I see.
Because they are all definitely fundamentally political issues.
And then at heads of state level?
That one is just a formality. The ministers have agreed.
They just go ahead.
They always discuss, behind the scenes. They discuss these issues. And they agree. They brief them. And then so the head of state will come and make noise there.
I see.
That's not the right place.
That's not their character.
No. And it's not the right place to do
That's the right place.
No.
Okay, so what are the most contentious issues? We know, of course, that everyone said the continuous violence in Gaza. Everybody condemned Israel and said but
it was the main theme, the main issue, the humdrum issue. Since call it the establishment of Israel.
Yes.
The Zionist
but why do you think
entity?
Why do you think a resolution to the problem has eluded everybody since then? Since I remember when I was very small, I heard about the Camp David agreement. I heard about, Prime Minister Menahem Begin and Yasser Arafat and all other mediations I've heard of, on and on. Why do you think the resolution, resolving the problem has so far not been possible?
Lamin, this thing is deeply historical, and you cannot dissociate it from the historical attitude. I call it historical and or historically hostile attitude of Europeans towards or against their Jewish communities since the Middle Ages.
I thought they are supportive of the Jews.
Up to the Second World War. Pardon?
I thought they are supportive of the Jews.
Now.
Ah, I see.
Now. But there is no continent, no people or peoples that have persecuted the Jews more than the Europeans
themselves.
This is a fact that nobody can deny. They themselves will not deny that. And it is this guilt conscience
that is still haunting them.
Thank you. Because the whole thing, if you read the history of Spain, Muslim Spain, after the Christians conquered the Muslims, this was around the 15th century, 14 something, and the Muslims were driven out. The Christian forces did not want any other religion to exist in the peninsula, the Iberian, as they would call it, the Iberian Peninsula, that is Spain and Portugal. So for them, Muslims and Jews should all live or become Christians. They had to be converted, forcibly, to Christianity. So they used to apply something in history called the Inquisition. Inquisition. That is to say, you either become a Christian or you die or you leave the country. You see?
I see.
They did that to the Jews. So many Jews had to cross the Mediterranean to go to these North African countries. Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, to Egypt. All these countries used to have sizable Jewish communities. Until this day, you go to Morocco, a place like Tetouan, I was there. I studied in Morocco. I spent not remnants, they are there.
A lot of them.
You see their synagogues. Tetouan has a synagogue. I saw it.
You saw it. And you must have seen rabbis.
And Moroccan cities, where you had at the time, Jewish population, their neighborhoods used to be called Milah. Up to this day, they use the word. When you hear Milah,
it's Jewish.
As the name of the neighborhood is Jewish. Used to be Jewish. Although now some of them, no, you wouldn't find them there. Milah in Moroccan
Hebrew
dialect. Probably. So this persecution and the pogroms against the Jews in the whole of Europe culminated into what's the term they use for the Jewish genocide in the Second World War?
Anti-Semitism. You are against them, they say you're anti-Semitic.
The Shoah, which is the Jewish word, Shoah, or Holocaust.
Yeah, the Holocaust. They call it Holocaust, yes.
You can imagine the word Holocaust. It's a huge genocide.
Absolutely.
Over 6 million, according to some statistics. 6 million, that's just terrible.
That's terrible.
By human standards.
Yeah, that's
so,
quite
this guilt conscience for them, frankly, the political elite and those aware among their populations in general arrived at the conclusion that definitely this just has to stop. This cannot continue.
I see.
Has to come to an end. Especially the fact that after the Second World War, the Western countries also arrived at the conclusion that it was only democracy that can serve as a rampart against this type of inhuman, yes.
I see.
So it's democracy that can prevent
this kind of
the advent or the emergence of let's say, even a Third World War.
Yeah.
Or there should be no dictatorship in Europe.
I see.
So they have. That's why they are very particular about democracy. Although in their own backyard, but never in other countries. They support dictatorial regimes.
That's right.
And that's hypocrisy, which is not good. Now, after You see, it also coincided, although it started well before the Second World War, there was a movement in the West, in these countries, in Europe, called the Zionist movement. Zionism is all about what? The establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine. Not Palestine, because there was nothing like Palestine before the First World War.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the Second World War.
The
First World War. There was nothing like Palestine.
Okay.
The place, the entire area was under Ottoman
Empire.
Yes, the Ottoman governance.
The Ottoman Empire.
And it used to be called the Fertile Crescent.
I see.
Yeah, in Arabic they call it Sham. Sham.
I see.
So it was divided into 4 states. 2 in the north, Lebanon and Syria, and were placed under French mandate. Yeah. That's the term used by the League of Nations.
The League of Nations.
Yes, French mandate.
Like Tanzania and Togo were under Germany.
Mandate, call it. Yeah. And then these other 2 created artificially Jordan and Palestine.
The British.
Placed under British mandate.
The British.
So the British encouraged. They connived with the Zionist movement. To form at the time after the First World War, and they used to have a foreign minister called Balfour. That's why he came up with a declaration, which in history is known as the Balfour Declaration. That allowed Jews to migrate massively
to go to Israel.
Yes,
modern day Israel.
They started it, but it sort of blossomed. After the Second World War. It was after the Second World War that the need was felt for Jews to just... So for them, that's the way I see it. And this, to me, frankly, is a fact. You see, they've come also to realize that the European per se cannot accept the Jews in their midst. So the best thing
is to get them out.
Is to let them have a state where they will go and stay.
Yeah, but that has happened, and yet, how to call it, the people they found in that land, they could not live in peace with them.
No, but you came and found people there.
Yes.
Then, who are the indigenes? Who are the autochthons? The people you found there.
The people they found there.
There was a Jewish community in that place. Yeah. Like in all other Arab countries, Arabic speaking countries. Even in Yemen, you have a Jewish community there. Down south, Yemen, yeah. There is a Jewish community in Eden. You know, so they're everywhere.
Okay.
And originally they came from there. To be frank, yes, they came from that area, Palestine, Jordan.
Okay. So back to the Banjul summit. So all what they could do is to pass a resolution after.
Yeah, resolutions. You see, let us not run away from this particular issue. You see, now what happens is the Europeans, I will not say the Westerners, including America. America even joined the fray later.
You forgot them.
At the beginning, they were not involved.
They were not interested. But now,
at the creation, at the establishment of Israel, America was even opposed to the idea.
But now they are the biggest.
It's all geopolitical. For America, it's geopolitical. But for Europeans, it's moral. It's ethical.
I see. Okay, yes. so that means
for them, not much. They are the ones supporting Israel. They don't want to be seen abandoning Israel because it raises
their conscience.
Exactly. That's the only thing. So what their support, nothing can change. Unfortunately,
many people said America is the problem. If America could accept to,
as far as I see things, America sees Israel as an extension of the United States. Wow. It is an additional state. It's another state. If they are around now 55 states, Israel is there 56.
They consider it 56. So that's where
without the name.
I see.
That's it. Period. And to have it in a strategic region of the world, that is the Middle East. It's so strategic.
That's it.
Strategic. Yeah. So to have, because to be frank, Americans and Westerners in general, for them, Muslims cannot be trustworthy friends. There you have this cultural dichotomy, the cultural divide, Muslim, Christian. You see, when you say it, I'm not saying this because I'm trying to promote.
We are giving a historical analysis.
Let's not forget history, going always back to history.
Yes, sir,
The Crusades, if you read about the Crusades, it cannot just disappear like that overnight between Muslims and Christians. It cannot be.
So let's move on. This matter will continue to elude people until powers like America accept a two-state solution that will be durable.
Yes, if you learn from history,
that's
things change.
Okay,
and it's like things are changing.
So by and large,
it's not sustainable what they are doing.
By and large, so the Banjul summit was really,
basically, frankly, it was and for me it was an achievement. Although I'm not with the. I'm not a supporter of the government.
No, I know.
I'm just stating facts.
Now, finally, what would you have loved the government to do with some of the direct facilities that were left as legacies of the summit? For example, the fleet of vehicles that have been acquired for the purpose of this. Because of course we had very good highways, a very good highway. We had that as part of the benefits we got. The conference center, etc.
Yes. You see, well, give to Caesar
what is due
to Caesar. The mere fact that the OIC served as a motivation, it spurred the government to build this road infrastructure is definitely a plus for us, because this is the first time in our history, our infrastructural history, that we have such a
highway.
Yes, definitely. And it, as you can see, it has contributed a great deal, to the easing of traffic, to mobility in general.
And the general outlook of the landscape.
Yes, and so on. That's number one. Good. Number two, it's also this grant from China, that is the
conference center.
The conference center. I just hope that government shows more innovative ways of running the place, make it a source of good income.
You are not impressed with the current
I don't think, no. Definitely, they have to hire professionals of hospitality. What they call
hospitality.
Yes.
To make it even more attractive.
Oh, yes. You see, nowadays, attracting conference organizers to your country, to your facilities, for them to come and, stage their events there. It's another industry nowadays. It's an industry.
Some people raise concern that nowadays every Tom, Dick and Harry have a small meeting. They said, let's go to Sadauda conference. They said the place should be preserved for more prestigious occasions. And
not even small ones. No, it's okay. They have small halls there for small meetings. That's not a problem. And then
people are thinking about the wear and tear. Like if I have a meeting here with people from my street and say, let's go to Sadauda, I hire something there.
Yeah, but if it brings in money, what's the problem?
Yeah, but in the wear and tear, the Independence Stadium, for example, when they start hosting music concerts, the whole grass got spoiled.
You maintain it. The problem with the African is that the culture of maintenance, it doesn't exist. It's lacking. We don't maintain. We seldom renovate whatever we have. We leave things to suffer from this wear and tear you're talking about. The deteriorate before we realize that something has to be done. No, just maintain it. And it's everywhere, and not only the Gambia.
No, it's Africa's problem.
Look at this King Fahd hotel in Dakar. In Dakar.
It's dilapidated.
It was a masterpiece.
It's declining.
Since 1990. But look at it now. The conference facilities that were there. Nothing is working. If all the meetings taking place now, you have to bring in
experts.
I'm talking about the equipment. For example, interpretation.
I see.
People bring their interpretation equipment from outside to the place.
I see.
For a place like that. Oh. If we don't take good care of this place, it will end up being like that. Well, so just maintain it.
I see.
But just make sure that even if Pate or Biran or Momodou Lamin Yaffa is hosting a event, let him pay. Let there be value for money. Let him pay for it. Once the money is there, that's it. You keep it and then make use of it to keep enhancing the place. Period.
So with people with your experience who have been to many conference centers in the world, you believe that there should be a more professional management and running?
Definitely.
I see.
Definitely.
Okay.
It depends now on financial experts to see, or let's say investment experts to see which model of investment or management that should be used in the benefit of the Gambia and also the person running the place. Because at the end of the day, those people, those experts also, they do it for money. You know what I mean? You see what I mean? Yeah, that's it.
Now, let's talk about lastly the fleet of the vehicles. Of course, the CEO of the OIC had said at the time the government's plan was to, after the summit, to use these vehicles and put them to where there was always a need for vehicle in the government system. But many people have started criticizing that the vehicles went actually to the top executives. They haven't seen it going to where there was need actually.
I have an observation.
Some said they should have sold it out, or then buy vehicles that are appropriate for those areas lacking vehicles.
My first issue with that is that why, in the first place, why should government buy the vehicles and own them? No, it shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, but we have important dignitaries coming.
No, I'm coming. I am saying this. Cars, right? I'm saying this out of experience. I was with the Islamic Development Bank. The Islamic Development Bank hosts. Well, it holds its annual meeting. That's annual. That's to say every year. If it is holding it in a member state, it holds it every 3 years at the headquarters. That's in Jeddah. If it is hosted by a member state, it is the member state that provides the wherewithal on whatever is needed, like vehicles. But if it is hosted at the headquarters, it is the bank itself that provides the vehicles, not Saudi Arabia. It's the bank.
Yes.
Not Saudi Arabia, not the government. Yes, because the bank has that financial autonomy. What does the bank do? It doesn't buy the vehicles.
Hires them.
It hires them. Lease. It's a lease from the dealers, the vehicle, the dealerships. Those who sell the vehicles in. For example, my last, I think the last annual meeting I attended there when I was there. They went to this German vehicle. BMW dealership, and they had the vehicles.
So you mean there could be vehicles that are good enough here to be hired for use by heads of state?
Well, probably it was a problem. That was a problem.
Yes,
it would have been a problem.
Yes,
because
to get appropriate vehicles.
I think the one who sold it to them is Espas Motors. Of Mohammed Jah. So probably they couldn't agree with Mohammed Jah. They might have come up with the idea, government I mean,
to hire it.
In
fact, there was, they once said that some will be hired.
But the problem I think here again is that after that, what is Espas Motors going to do with all that fleet? Because the Gambian, you don't have the...
You mean people if they were to hire it, you mean?
If hire to government, government pays the money, and at
the
end of the vehicle goes back to whom are they going to sell it to? Because they depreciate, the prices depreciate.
Yes, as well as it may might wear and tear.
They will have to sell them out, and the market is slow.
The market will slow. So it wasn't so probably it wasn't a good idea to have to buy them outright.
So it was sort of imposed on government to
buy them.
So they had no choice. It was like what they call to be between the rock and the hard place. They have to. So the only choice is to buy the vehicle.
Yeah, but what happened to the vehicle?
Now I don't know.
No, it even distributed among senior officials.
That's what they are doing.
Yeah, ministers.
Which is a very, it's a bad thing. Because this money, taxpayers' money for that matter.
And the ministers already have fleets of vehicles.
this will perhaps we may discuss this matter also during our case.
All right, let's move on. Another thing that was raging in terms of debates relating to your area, when I mean Islamic propagation, was the question of FGM. Right now, the Parliament, the National Assembly Subcommittee on Gender, is consulting people. People are presenting, and groups are presenting position papers.
Yes.
To express views on what they think should be. And there were issues like it may be Islamic. Some said no, it's not Islamic. And the bill is still before Parliament, and very soon there will be a vote on it. What would you think in your personal capacity? I wouldn't ask on behalf of Rawdatul, but
personal,
okay, your personal capacity.
I have written articles on this.
So what do you think?
So my position is well known, even among my peers in Rawda. They know my position.
And what's your position?
About the position is that this is an outdated practice. It's a harmful social practice, period. In this day and age, I mean, this is not something that one should perpetuate. You to seek to, no. And among human rights issues that all these human rights organizations deal with, they look into and fight against, is what is called or categorized harmful practices in all societies. And in religion, if anything, you see, this notion of haram in Islam has a rationale. There is a science in Islamic studies called usulul fiqh. It teaches you that haram, once something is harmful, is confirmed to be harmful, scientifically, empirically, or whatever, then automatically it becomes haram, even though not stated, specifically in the Quran, or explicitly in the Quran, or in the Hadith. That's why there are many things nowadays that you don't find in the Quran or in the Hadith, but that Muslim scholars decided to consider haram, and that's it. So when it is harmful, this is why things like any forms of drug, like this modern the types of drugs that people consume, all Muslim scholars will tell you it's haram from an Islamic standpoint, because of a standard that they use, they call analogy, al-qiyas in Arabic. Analogy, by that key of analogy, by that standard of analogy, comparison, because this issue of haram, harmfulness is there. When there is harm in anything, then halas, Islam doesn't accept it.
So this idea of it being Islamic,
the female circumcision, let me call it that way, FGM and cutting out, all these are semantic acrobacies and whatever, but female, it is circumcision anyway, but the female type. And then, according to specialists, you have different types of it. You have the pharaonic, and they have their names, their own, whatever, and there are about 4 or 5 types.
The argument, proponents of this practice said, oh no, it is not FGM we are talking about female gender circumcision.
That's why now they came with the word, because this word mutilation, evokes certain people think that it is a form of
exaggerating.
Yes, that is barbaric, that it is not mutilation.
But mutilation is more barbaric.
But if you go into look at a dictionary, look up for the word mutilation.
It
simply means cut. Simple as that. It's in our own whatever imagination. It's a figment of our imagination. Thinking that when you say
there's a difference between circumcision and mutilation.
It's like when you say in Manika, and that's not it. That's not it.
I see.
So then people have to use word cutting, which is not even idiomatic in English.
So in any case, so whatever you
cut there is just not good. And you see, the issue is going back now to the sources, because in Islam, whatever fatwa you come up with, I'm not a fatwa specialist, and I shouldn't be, and there is no fatwa specialist in the Gambia, no in Africa. Fatwa is not issued by one person. No, it cannot be. In the Arab world, the Muslim world, it's a council.
But the Supreme Islam
they don't have ulamas among them who
there is a council.
No, they are not equipped to do so. They are not a fatwa council. It's just a Supreme Islamic Council. I can be a member there, but I'm not a fatwa specialist. No. In Egypt, you have many Islamic...
A fatwa is a sanction. The first time I had a fatwa was when it was imposed against Salman Rushdie in 1989.
That was the Iranian fatwa.
Iranian type.
Yeah,
so what was this? Fatwa?
No, fatwa...
Sanction.
No, not the word sanction. It's just, they call it an edict. But it simply means a religious order, which becomes a principle that has to be adhered to by the people to whom this order has been issued. Simple as that. You see, for example, when the Muslim community, whether in the Gambia or anywhere else, is confronted with a new issue, which from a religious perspective has to be dealt with. What should we do? The laity, the ordinary people, Muslims, they wouldn't know. They will be arguing among themselves. Now the scholars among them and the God-fearing ones also, they have to be knowledgeable and God-fearing, will come together, sit over this matter. It may take them even 1 year or 2 to arrive at a conclusion and say, now this is our fatwa. After yufti, ifta, and fatwa means an opinion. It's like when you say a legal opinion. Simple as that. In Islam, they call it fatwa. In modern day jurisprudence, they call it legal opinion. That's why some people call it Sharia opinion. Period. That's what it is. So but this Sharia opinion, for example, the head of the Fatwa Council in Egypt, it used to be one man called Dr. Ali Juma. He's no longer there. There's somebody else. I don't know his name. Ali Juma was just the head of the council. But anything brought before them for consideration and the pronounce and an issue of fatwa, hey, it's a collegial effort. Collegial brainstorming.
So the Supreme Islamic Council of the Gambia is issuing a fatwa.
They are not habilitated to do so. They don't have, no, it's not there.
Okay.
Their wherewithal is not there. No.
So in your view, FGM is a harmful practice, therefore it cannot be Islamic.
And then, it is not in the Quran. Nobody can tell you that.
Well, they have been referenced. They said the Prophet was told.
I'm coming.
And he said, quote,
no, wait,
well, as long as you do it not in an excessive way, or maybe when two sides, according to them, when two sides that have been cut touch each other, then purification should come. So in other words, they are saying that the Prophet actually, by talking about when two sides that are circumcised,
thank you for mentioning that.
That's implying that it has existed.
I cannot remember the wording of the hadith, yes, but it is the word khitanan. إذا التقى ختانان. Khitan in Arabic means circumcision. So the expression, listen to here very carefully, and I want the viewers also to listen carefully to what I'm going to say.
Yes.
Khitan means circumcision, but male circumcision. That's circumcision in this particular case.
It's referring to the male.
The male, al-khitan.
But according to them, they were trying to discuss when shall purification comes in, and it was said that when two circumcised parts.
That is what I'm
So when they say two, they mean both.
No, that's what I'm answering.
Male and female.
That's why I'm saying there is a nuance here.
Okay.
Something very fine. You have to be very attentive to understand it. Khitanan means khitan in Arabic. Khitanan means two. You know, you have dual in Arabic. Kitab means book. Kitaban means two books.
Like books.
Well, kutub means books. So the plural doesn't start with two in Arabic.
I see.
Unlike Mandinka English and others. No, it starts with three.
Okay.
Two, not plural. It's dual.
Okay.
So we will say kitaban.
Okay.
Muminan. Two mumin. Musliman. Two Muslims.
I see.
Muslimun, then that's a plural.
That's a community.
Muslimin. Khitanan, the Prophet is saying when these two meet, that is to say during, call it intercourse. That's the idea. When they meet, then there has to be purification. But let's go back now to the
Arabic. But the two,
listen.
Okay.
Listen, I'll answer your question.
Okay.
Now, when you go now back to the Arabic language, what does this thing mean? Because don't forget, for those who are familiar with rhetoric, literature, in any language, English, French, Arabic, whatever, you have metaphor, figurative language, figurative expression.
Idiomatic.
This is purely figurative when the Prophet says when two circumcisions meet.
Yes.
Good. What in Arabic, there is a figure of style that uses something and its contrary. Uses something and its opposite. While using the thing per se, using that word and make it dual to refer to both. I don't know whether my explanation, what I've said.
I get you, but
let me give you an example.
What I want you to clarify is this. When you agreed that it was said that when two circumcised parts
why are you conditioning
come
me?
together? I want you to define this. If they say two circumcised parts, this surely must be referring to male and female.
I was going to give you a concrete example for you to understand what I've just explained.
Yeah, but it cannot be all male. Not so.
But let me explain.
Okay, let's go ahead.
You see, for example, in Arabic, in those days, in the days of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they would refer to water, and dates.
Yeah, I know.
That fruit called date. Yeah. The two would be referred to al-aswadan. Al-aswadan. That's to say the two black things, the two black objects, or the two black things. What is black about water? Probably dates. But, for example, when somebody is hungry and says that, well, for me, definitely, I had nothing to eat. I have to be contented with the aswadan.
The two black things.
Talking about water and
date.
Al-Qamaran,
the
two moons.
The two moons.
In Arabic, Qamar means moon.
Yeah.
The two moons, it's the sun and the moon. Is the sun a moon? It's a planet, but not moon. When we say moon, it's one planet called moon. But both of them are referred to figuratively as moon.
So you are suggesting that
I'm coming. If you don't,
I've seen what you're
very good.
Yes.
Al-Bahrain, when they meet, you have sea water, the ocean, and you have fresh water, a river. When they meet, you will say Iltaqa al-Bahran and not Nahran. Nahr in Arabic means river. Bahr means sea or ocean, if you like. Wow. But here, the word Bahr, I'm coming. I think now you are getting an idea. You understand what I'm driving at. Now, when you say Bahr, it's simply Bahr is sea. But here, in this particular case, Bahran means river water and sea water. Now, when the Prophet said Iltaka khitanan, you have male circumcision and female circumcision coming together in that act of intercourse, sexual intercourse, when they meet. Which circumcision is referred to? The dominant one, that is the male one. Simply means when the male organ comes into contact with the female organ, there should be ghusl. It doesn't mean that this particular female one is circumcised. No, it is figurative. This is my argument, and this is the argument used by many scholars also. I'm not saying this out of just no. I read it, I came across it. Ulemas in the Arab world, elsewhere in the Muslim world, they do say it. Let them come and challenge.
So if I understand you, you're saying that those two circumcised parts being referred to in this way may as well be in the same way that sea and river and other things have been expressed in Arabic.
That's the nature of the Arabic language.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that when he said that two circumcised parts, he's not referring to both male and female.
Barakallah fika.
So that two is not literally male.
No.
It could be
whoever sees it as literal is just fooling himself. He doesn't understand the
okay, that is based
on
that. Well, most proponents of FGM said, since Muhammad mentioned that two circumcised parts, then therefore there must exist female gender.
With this explanation, I think
with this one, okay.
This is cut some doubt now in your mind.
All right.
So now I'm telling you. But now let me add something.
Yeah.
Lamin, for the benefit of the viewers, female circumcision. I wouldn't deny the fact that it existed in all these Muslim or whatever Arabic-speaking countries, Muslim countries,
before,
even in
in
Asia
most places before.
Yes.
Yeah.
But let them tell me which country here now in North Africa, which are all now Arabic-speaking, probably apart from Egypt, starting from Libya down to Mauritania, where this thing is practiced. They've abandoned it. They have just abandoned it. They don't do it. In Egypt, there is a fatwa from the Fatwa Council, ratified by Parliament, the Egyptian Parliament, that this thing is now haram. No, anybody caught doing it will be sanctioned, will be penal, the penal code will be applied on him. In Egypt, there's no. So it's a fact.
Coincidentally, that's where some parliamentarians have gone to benchmark to seek opinions.
Why not? Why not? I see this platform, this opportunity to appeal to my Gambian parliamentarians who are clamoring for the repeal of this the law,
FGM,
banning FGM. Please, please, please. If you are saying this for religious reasons, there is no foundation. The so-called hadith that people, this Atiyah or whatever, most scholars regard those hadiths as weak. Now, for me, whether it's weak or what they call it, authentic, sahih, that's not the issue. It's a hadith, because even this the idea of ruling it as weak and whatever, there is nothing peremptory. The word I mean, I should say categorical, scientific to say that exactly it's weak. No, it's an assumption based on certain criteria, standards that you use to measure, and then you arrive at the conclusion. But it doesn't mean that it is, divine proof that this is what it is, that it is just weak. No, that's why in those days, days of Bukhari, hadith that Bukhari, Muslim and others considered weak, there are now scholars like people like Albani who would say, no, this one is not weak, it's accurate, it's what? It's authentic, and so on. So this issue of weakness, but generally people consider as weak. And coming back to our own Muslim college school of jurisprudence, which is the Malikiyah, it is mentioned there. But you know how? At the tail end, it's not given much consideration. It is just mentioned as a very rare labeling in Islamic fiqh.
It's just been mentioned as passing by.
Very marginal. They call it makruma, from karama. Laqad karamna bani Adam. Allah says that we dignified. Allah dignifies the human being. He's raised him to the pedestal of dignity. So the human being is divinely dignified. God gives him that intrinsic dignity. It's in us. So that's the word.
Yeah.
So they use the word makruma, which, frankly speaking, is the only word makruma used in a particular fiqh situation. You don't see it anywhere else. You talk about haram, farida, jawaz, jaiz, mandub, mustahab, and so on. But makruma never went nowhere. Unless for this particular issue. What it means is honorable. It's an honor for women. Ya Habibi. Let us use our...
So your appeal basically to these parliamentarians is to...
So please let them just abandon this idea. You cannot come up with a law.
The law,
yeah, and you know, nowadays look at the outcry. Yeah. International, both international, regional, and even internally here. Yeah. The outcry is enough.
Even Secretary Blinken called Barrow and he mentioned human rights, and there's no major human rights on the threat here, perhaps.
Why should
other than the FGM issue?
Why should we don't become a pariah in this particular case? Why? So please let them take it easy. And then what is the harm if it is abandoned? What is wrong? What does it do? And again, interestingly, that's my last point. Mm-hmm. But we have communities among us here who do not practice it.
Yes, of course.
So what's the problem? They just don't practice it, and they are Muslims.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. We don't do Islam better than them. So what are we trying to insinuate?
The problem is, the law, the law had been there since 2006. The problem of, the thing that brought the matter to limelight and to the fore is the prosecution of people who practice it.
Well, it's for it to serve as a deterrent. That's all. Deterrent. That's the word.
Yeah, but people said if you continue to prosecute people, then of course there will be a problem.
Then why should they continue practicing it? And you know that an ignorance of the law is no excuse. Huh?
Yeah,
ignorance of the law.
There should be enforcement.
That's it. Nul n'est censé ignorer la loi in French. Okay. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. So
the position is very clear.
Don't do it. Period.
Yeah. Now let's finally talk to another contentious issue. A few days ago, Rawdatul Majalis, of which you are vice president, issued a statement announcing that Eid will be observed on Monday. Whereas, the general feeling is that Arafat, that is as we speak now, this Saturday in Mecca, people are observing Arafat. And Arafat happens on the eve of Tabaski. The next day after Arafat is always the Eid. Now, it's been said in Saudi Arabia that the Eid will be on Sunday because today, Saturday, is the Arafat.
Very good.
So now, where on earth do you Rawdatul Majlis? When is your Arafat? Didn't you agree that today is the Arafat in Mecca?
But we are not an exception in the world today. There are many countries that are celebrating the Eid on Monday, on the 17th.
Yes, we have had it. But what is the reason?
The day preceding the Eid is Arafat. So,
yes, which is today
our
in
Arafat,
Saudi Arabia.
Yes, that's in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Our Arafat is on Sunday.
How?
What is how? You see, Arafat is an abstract notion. It is not physical. In Islamic jurisprudence, I'm always referring to jurisprudence.
But the people, Saudi is where everybody takes as a reference. Reference as Islam, base of Islam.
No,
if they are observing it today, who are we to say?
Why is Saudi a reference?
But that's where the Kaaba is, for example. That's where, and everybody's in Makkah.
Your platform is
too small for us.
Very good. You cannot accommodate, the arguments.
No, but listen. In simple terms, to everybody's understanding, Saudi is the reference. People are in Mecca. 2 million people are in Mecca now, going around the Kaaba, etc.
I don't want to.
They are observing the Arafat, and Arafat is followed by.
I agree. Now allow me.
It's been established in Saudi that today is the Arafat, tomorrow is the Eid.
Very good.
Now, is it not the same religion we're talking about?
Same religion. Allow me to explain.
So why are we today?
Now allow me to explain.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to explain in full, just as we treated the other topics.
Thank you very much. Yeah. In fact, I have it here, but unfortunately, this is not the place for me to show it.
Yeah, what do you want?
That a Saudi Imam scholar made a pronouncement on this particular issue to say that Arafah is an abstract notion. In Arabic, they call it mafhumun ma'nawi. It is ma'nawi, and not shay malmus or physical or concrete. If your Arafah is today, it can be tomorrow. It can be my Arafah. Simply because you see, how do you determine Arafah? And this is the crux of the matter. You determine based on your sighting of the moon. We sighted the moon here. I cannot remember the day, but based on the calculation, our 9th day is Sunday. That's tomorrow. So that is our Arafah, not the Arafah that the Hujjaj.
But is it not the same moon?
No, but we see it differently. I think you accept that.
But there's only 4 hours or 3 difference between here and Mecca.
That is.
If something is seen in Mecca at 11 o'clock, suddenly
that's a matter we leave to astronomers. They themselves tell you, some see the moon here today, while others will never see it somewhere else. It's like the key of the moon, the sun, or the eclipse. Yes. Eclipse of the moon or the sun. Is it seen everywhere? And it's taking place. It's a natural phenomenon taking place, but they'll tell you, you will see it only in North America, or let's say in the southern part of Africa. It's the same thing. Well, logically speaking, I'm not an astronomer, but logically speaking, you see it over. I cannot see it here. Senegal, for example, mainstream Senegal, I'm talking about mainstream, they are also praying on Monday. Yep. And many other countries.
Yeah, but based on what? Tradition?
Not tradition, calculation. This is what I'm telling you. Don't take us back to, I have just explained it to you. Lamin, the day you sighted the moon, that's the day you start counting. I couldn't see the moon. But so if I didn't see it,
according to the Quran, even if you have not seen it, but you have had reliable people say they've seen it, and now communication is very reliable. Somebody can be on the other side of the planet and communicate.
I agree with you.
Yes.
You see, it's a question of interpretation. The hadith of the prophet that refers to this particular issue says, Sumu is all related to fasting. He said it on that occasion. Sumu liru'yati wa aftiru liru'yati. It's a blanket statement, an open one. Sumu, that's to say fast. It's an order. In grammar, you call it the imperative. Fast, based on your sighting. Sumu antum, you. Fast. Did the prophet at the time refer to those in Saudi Arabia? No. Wherever you are, you do it. You fast based on your sighting. That's where I interpret it. You are telling me. You see, don't also forget. I'm coming. You don't also forget that our people here, our scholars, those who are particular about the religion and their religion, frankly speaking, these are people who are very, very attentive and particular about the movement of the cycle, the cyclic movement of the moon.
Yes.
They start counting, observing it every day, up to the day 27 or 28 when it disappears, and from there they will see whether it should be there should be efforts to sight it the following day or not. When they do that, and they couldn't, for example, for this particular case, this month, up to day 27, by everybody's counting, and even in Saudi Arabia, it is on the calendar, it was day 27. We all saw the moon here. The following day, 28, nobody saw it. But what happened? It was not the day that people were expected to go and sight it. It was not even in those places. So for us, day 28 was just a free day. It is the following day, day 29, that we will go out to sight to see whether it's out or not. Then suddenly, announcement came out from Saudi Arabia to say that they've sighted the moon. Even those following them here, we are not expecting it. Billahi al-Adim. They were not expecting it. So they just followed suit. For me, it was unethical and dishonest.
So, why is it that Rawdatul Majalis always go in opposition to the position of Supreme Islam?
The Supreme Islam goes against traditional wisdom in the Gambia and in the Senegambia.
So, are you now saying that you are praying on Monday based on tradition, not religion?
No, I say traditional wisdom. What I mean by traditional,
they are opposed to traditional wisdom.
Yes, here in the Gambia. I'm
trying to say, is you're observing it on Monday? Is it based on traditional wisdom?
No, tradition, just a blanket term again. Yeah. The tradition is, that is the practice here, is that our people, we are also very proud of our scholars. We are proud of our religion. And we are very particular about it. We are, we are as God-fearing as any other person in the world. Now, those people have been following these things. They count it every day. They are the ones who go against that trend. That's to say, they say now.
But we all agree.
But when they say, if you say to me that your position is that Saudi Arabia will be my standard
reference,
which my yardstick.
Because that's the base of his...
No, it is not. They don't take me back to history. Let us call me to another program.
Why
and then we discuss this matter.
People going there for pilgrimage?
Before 1920, before the emergence of the House of Saud, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, after the Second World War, before the Second World War, there was nothing like Saudi Arabia. There was no contact.
But there was always pilgrimage.
Yes, but in those days,
yes.
Interestingly enough, and for your information, for the information of the viewers, the type of Islam we have here, Malikiya, and this Sufism, our Karamos, people, these Gamos and things like that, that's the tradition that used to exist in Hijaz, Makkah, Medina, Taif, Jeddah, and so on. These people came from the east, far east, Riyadh area. They invaded them and then imposed their own form of Islam on them, called this thing, Al-Hanbaliyah, their jurisprudence, different from our Malikiya. In Hijaz, there used to be Maliki and Shafi'iyah. But so they decided to...
So you want to believe the Supreme Islamic Council are under the influence of them?
Yes. This is what they're doing. They have, not all of them, there are some people, a pocket, very powerful among them, who just decide and say, and the others just follow. And they projected themselves in a bottomless pit. They want to come out of it, and they cannot. When they linked this Arafat notion to the aid, to justify to people, the laity, the ordinary Gambian, the ordinary Muslim, that you see Arafat, as you can see, there is only one Arafat. That of Saudi Arabia.
Exactly.
Which is not. You have listened to my explanation. Yes. Don't tell me exactly as if you are. I'm not saying that you should be convinced, but take it into account. There is not only one Arafat. I told you it's abstract. Depends on your sighting of the moon. So our counting is 9 today. So when they did that, now to come out to say, hey, no, you know, even though Arafat in Saudi Arabia, but we, based on our own sighting of the moon, today is not 9, today is 8, so tomorrow is 9. They cannot say it.
So now...
They feel uncomfortable to do so.
No,
for me, this is the situation.
Exactly.
And I'm saying this loud and clear, please. For those who understand English, please say this to those who don't understand English. Mandinka, Wolof, Fula, Sarakule, Diola, and everybody to understand.
Good.
This is why we are not an exception. Morocco,
even in the provinces, but people might think that those people might be under your influence.
Oh, no.
There are a lot of provinces.
If we make the mistake of emulating or doing exactly what these people have done, what's their name? Supreme Council. They will jettison us. They will abandon us. The people in the provinces. They are very adamant about this thing. They don't play with it. They don't joke with it. People know what I'm talking about. But we have been sincere.
The organization calls yourself the representative of all imams and
Majalis.
Majalis.
No, not all imams. That perhaps is an exaggeration.
Okay.
But imams who believe. You see, this whole idea of Rawda, this notion, we say we come to defend.
What is the meaning of Rawda in Arabic?
Rawda means garden.
A gathering.
Garden.
A garden. So Majalis is a garden of Majalis.
Yes, and even a nursery.
Nursery.
This all means here. You see, that's to say the compendium of Majalis in the Gambia, and not only Gambia, Senegambia, Bissau, and others. You see, our main concern is over the past 20-30 years, we've noticed this onslaught of Wahhabism. I think people understand that word. Their onslaught on our mainstream traditional Islam here that we inherited from our forefathers. And these are based on 3 things. What I'm saying may sound academic to many people, but I think it's important for me to say it. You see, our Islam here, that we inherited from our fathers, forefathers, forefathers, up to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is based on 3 fundamentals. One we call Aqidah, which if you start, when you start learning Islamic studies, it's the first thing they teach you. What is your Aqidah? That is to say, what is your creed? Your creed, Islamic creed, what is it based on? La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Then you believe in the day of, how do you call it, hereafter. You believe in the existence of malaikas, and so on and so forth. That creed of ours, Aqidah, unfortunately, mainstream in the Muslim world is called Al-Ash'ariyya and Maturidiyya. But some people just, I won't say recently, it used to exist since the days of Ibn Taymiyyah, but it gained currency recently with Wahhabism. They try to, so whoever lands in their own circles, you come up with that type of creed. I'm coming. You see where I see that creed? Yeah. I'm coming. That creed is fundamental. They come and attack our own creed. So please, we will have a special session on this. Okay. But number 2, apart from the creed, you know I have talked about jurisprudence. Yes. The 4 jurisprudence, you know them. Yeah, you know. Malikiya, Hanbaliya, Shafi'iyya, and Hanafiya. Yeah. We are Malikiya. They are Hanbaliya. They have now, they've succeeded in imposing their own Hanbaliya on their own followers. To a point where the people of Supreme Islamic Council. Well, unfortunately, they are the dominant people there. They have a radio station there that always attack our people for organizing gamos and whatever and so on. They call it falah. Why should they accommodate such a thing? Okay, now listen. That's number 2. Number 3, and that's where I finish. The 3rd fundamental is what we call in Arabic at-tasawwuf, Sufism in English. All these our scholars of yore, ulamas of yore that we venerate, like Ibn Sheikh Bamba, Alaji Malik Si, Umar Futi Utal, Kang Kasama, what's his name? How to call it? All around the Casamas. I mean, Balfodo, all our the Faderas and the Cadados, and all these people. The reason people venerate them is they are that height of Sufism, Tasawwuf, that sense of God, to be God-fearing. You know, their adherence to the qualities of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The Quran says to us, Muslims, in the Quran, وَلَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Uswatun Hasana. Uswa means emulation, role model. Your role model is the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. See where I find the contradiction. Lenin is not my role model. No. Churchill is not my role model. Yeah. No philosopher in this world, me as a Muslim, is my role model. My role model is Muhammad al-Mukhtar al-Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now, when my entire life is to revive, to embody the qualities of that role model, then I am the perfect Muslim. That's why in Islam they call it al-ihsan, darajatul ihsan, perfection. This is what our people do, to a point where their followers, those around them, they see strange things. Frankly, they always conclude that these people are not ordinary people. Good. This is what it's all about. When you come and say those fundamentals are fake, they are false, and you fight against those people to bring something else, I will be against you. This is why Rawda was established. I rest my case. Thank you. What I find contradicting in your deliberations is that while you agreed that things like female genital mutilation, in the view of the enlightened and progressive views of Islam, yes, they consider it harmful and therefore, not Islamic to practice. You find it difficult to accept that this kind of Islamic progressive reform, which says things like damos, things like traditional, Majalis, are also outdated. You don't accept that, but you accept that progressive Islam has shown FGM, but you don't want to believe that the progressive Islam reforms is no longer in agreement with this traditional form of gamos and others. That's a contradiction. Progressive when You targeting my fundamentals? The fundamentals of my creed?
Well,
it cannot be.
Well,
for example,
FGM proponents can say, when you say stop it, you're attacking their tradition.
But it's not a fundamental thing. It's not a fundamental part in Islam. No, it's different. No, don't.
Well, for example, if you accept that Islam, modern day Islam, doesn't accept FGM because it finds it as a harmful tradition.
But it has nothing to do with religion. I tell you, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, for your information, the information of the viewers, he did not practice it on his female offsprings. His daughters, they did not do it.
Okay, all right. Let's say. Okay, now let's take note of that. Okay, let's talk now to the
it was not even practiced in
conclusion now. You know, the Supreme Islamic Council is often seen to be sympathetic to the government agenda, or government sympathetic to their agenda. It's the same it's two sides of the same coin.
Yes.
But interestingly, that also means that you being opposed to Rawda, you must find yourself opposed to government agenda. How do you feel that? Like today, when you release your press release, people have said, oh, perhaps we should bring back Yahya Jammeh because, in Jammeh's time, nobody can get up and challenge the authority. When the government said tomorrow is it has to be.
Because this whole thing started with Yahya Jammeh. He went to the extreme extent of imposing it on people. We all saw the arrest of the sheriff in
Hyderabad.
Muhyiddin Hyderabad. Allah have mercy on him. Of blessed memory. Can you imagine? And jailed many other people simply because they decided to defy him.
Yeah, because they believe that that's promoting division.
But why should you impose
Your position is
in Islam,
encouraging division.
In Islam, you don't impose. What is division? There is nothing like division.
Yeah, well, people are praying tomorrow. You are praying on Monday.
There is not. You see, there is no monolithic. Monolithism. Let me call it, so to speak.
Okay.
There is nothing monolithic in Islam. That's why you have these schools of jurisprudence. For your information, in fact, there was a time there were more than 12 schools of jurisprudence in Sunni Islam, let alone Shia Islam. But just our Sunni Islam, more than 12. But the others disappeared. These are all trends of thought, philosophy. They disappear. Now you have only 4. And the largest one is not even our Malikiya, it's Hanafiya in Asia. Hanafiya, Pakistan and others. That's what they practice. Then you have Shafi'iyya, then you have Malikiyya. The smallest one is Hanbaliyya, which these people try to impose on us. This so-called whatever, Wahhabi. So let us be mindful, man.
It's always interesting talking to you. So, thank you very much. Like you said, this platform is too small.
Frankly, because this history of Saudi Arabia, Islam in Saudi Arabia, definitely we should
organize
time. Talk about it.
We will.
The whole thing started to this point because history, as they would say in English, a lot of water has passed under the bridge. 1,400 years now.
Yes, now. Yes.
Many things happened.
1440 something now.
There was a time, this Egypt was Shiite. Can you imagine? The Fatimid, they call it the Fatimid dynasty in history. They were Shiites.
Indeed.
Why is Shiism today in Egypt? So history, be careful with history. Thank you.
Momodou Lamin Yaffa, there he goes. Thank you very much for being on the brunch. We respect and we really appreciate your contributions on the program today. So like I said, we are going to wish you a great Tobaski. But of course, as you had from Mr. Yaffa, there are 2 schools of thoughts on the day of the Tobaski. So I can wish you a very good Tobaski over the weekend.
On Monday.
Over the weekend.
And I've even got news that in this greater Banjul area, many people are going to pray on Monday. Because they've realized that definitely these people did not, they are not on solid ground.
Well, whichever day you observe it.
I congratulate those people. Let us stop following other people.
Whichever way
the Saudi always tell us that, hey, we are not telling you to follow us.
Do it you localize the religion in your area.
Why not? Why do we go and study and come back? We have scholars here. They've written books and they are still writing books. So well, no problem.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Like you said, we can't never exhaust the issues there. But we will be back, inshallah, after the prayers on another brunch. Until then, Lamin Cham, wishing you have a good time.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Planning to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Karaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980-8483, 340-9400 or 635-9906.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051, or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
I get it. Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. Nsila ID soto.
Sorry. I get it.
Bijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya. Mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta même na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. janno number 1 ti nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wala nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol dil fana be teata gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je
wo moyo diat
apelenta
baraka ni na lafta nyelen kendol e bina
yalo bu kanina ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel ciosano lo
baraka